All right, welcome to the Charis demo. Milton Smith here, the creator of Charis, which is nothing really official here. It's just sort of a research project for me here while I've been in between jobs here looking for my next thing. So might as well keep busy, right? Anyway, so this is just sort of sharing a little about what I've been working on to keep myself busy here. So this is Charis. It's a web application, um, a web app sort of AI harness. So it's kind of like ChatGPT, but it has a lot of specialized tools and some for security. Um, and it has some of the major features here are sort of a timeline, kind of like X, where you have suggestions and following. You have an AI feature, a knowledge vault, which is like Wiki. You have each user has a file area where you can store different sort of files privately, or you can share files. You can also you can add files to that file area, or the AI can put files in there for you. So if you ask it a certain prompt and to pursue some sort of results, you can tell it to store those results in your private file area. Schedules. So there's different schedules here for which are kind of like a cron job. And in fact, you can have it execute executables, but you can also have it execute prompts at a certain time. So here I have a prompt for some daily curated news where it goes out on the internet and sort of builds like a custom news page for me. And here I have a security intelligence briefing. So it goes out and crawls different, security influencers and information sources to sort of give me an intelligence brief for the day. And then there's certain tasks in here to keep the knowledge vault up to date. History. So you get a history of all the different things that you've been working on in the session, plus like file uploads and stuff. Like basically everything is here for you to look at and sort of categorized. Bookmarks. So you can see different posts that you have bookmarked, and if you want to get rid of a bookmark, you can get rid of it. If you want to add new bookmarks, so you can kind of keep them organized here. Um, Profile, not very impressive, I know, and it's sort of horrible UI, but um, anyway, I haven't really focused too much on that area. Um, but yeah, a little tour of what you can do. So let's see some security sort of stuff. So we can ask the AI to give me a graph of um, vulnerability um, data. Well, let's be specific. Let's ask for NVD, National Vulnerability Database data, which is public data. NVD vulnerability data by category from 2016 to present. And then let's define what category means to us, which is XSS, SQLi, etc. Okay, so this is going to give us a graph of NVD vulnerability data by a larger sort of category from 2016 to the present. And that the salient point here too is that the AI doesn't have to do a web search on NVD data remotely. So NVD offers, if you register with them, they'll give you an API key to their data, and data is gold. And so they do have certain throttling limits and things, but they allow you to download data non-aggressively from their NVD database, and so you can sort of build up your own local database And that's exactly what we've done here. So took, we eventually gathered the data, and which took some time because it is throttled. Um, but in a couple of days, got the data, built our own database, and then, excuse me, in the schedules, well, actually, in I think it's services. Um, uh, System props services, global prop services. Yeah. Yeah. So we have an NVD task and services that is always running, and it sort of uh, it goes out and grabs data from the NVD database to kind of keep our local database up to date and in sync. That way, if we go to ask any questions, well, then they're always have the latest. Okay, so we've asked it to graph these vulnerabilities since 2016 to the present by category. We haven't told it the visualization type we want, so it's just gonna give us, probably a bar chart or something. But there's like we have a bunch of D3 charts in here, so there's like I think 32 or 33 different chart types that I can use. Um, and then here you can see in the activity log, you can see the AI's reasoning pathway. So the reasoner is now running, which is the tier 2 model, which is we have it set to Grok 4.5. And you can see the reasoner, this is the first call, did an NVD search afterwards, and now it's analyzing the data. Okay, so you can see we have like a nice little chart here. You can resize it. Um, so XSS is still king, and memory safety, yeah, probably like buffer overflows, and then gray is SQLi. So these are oldies but goodies, right? Like they were always a problem, and they're still a problem. Um, and but in defensive industry, they are very hard problems to solve. Um, okay, XSS dominates. Yeah. So here you go. So point here is you've got this NVD, rich NVD data locally, and you can ask different questions uh, and use this sort of thing to develop your own priorities for risk. So obviously XSS is like the biggest industry problem still, and that's what the data shows. So uh, you know, so that's probably where you should focus, that's probably where you should focus your energy, right? That's what that's saying. I mean, you might pick the top, like, two or three things and make sure all your tooling, like, sort of chisels in around that, right? That way you are focusing where you should be. Um, and then there's some text. Now, the other thing that we can do is, so again, here's the reasoning path. You can see how it created the chart, multi-line chart, um, and then finished it with this text by popping back to the reasoner. But one of the things that we can do too is it has speech to text capabilities. So let's see, audio provider. So you can see text to speech is set to 11 labs right now. And then speech to text is done through XAI. So you can sort of mix and match the models that you use to handle different functions. You could make them all 11 labs or all XAI, whatever you want to do. Kind of depends on cost and quality trade offs, that sort of thing. But what we could do here is we could say, speak a summary of the prompt results. Yeah. And of course, you could tell the AI to grab a web page and like summarize it audibly for you.
NVD CVE trends from 2016 through mid-2026. XSS dominates, rising from about 470 to over 8,300 tool honored in 2025. SQL injection jumped after 2020 to around 4,000. Missing authorization went from nearly zero to almost $3,000. Memory safety stays high and steady around 2,500 to 4,000 a year. Command injection and path traversal keep climbing. 2026 is only partial year data.
Okay, it sounds like it sort of messed up a little and thought that sounds like it thought the y-axis here was dollars, but anyway, you get the idea. Sometimes the AI, you know, needs to be massaged a little bit, but you get the idea. I can read these things to you. It's kind of cool. And then same thing with the knowledge vault here. So, we could give like a AI task. So let's clear out this session and let's give it an AI task to produce a knowledge vault page. So we could say, go to I think it's OWASP.org and create a knowledge vault page summarizing summarizing flagship projects. Yeah, all right. That seems like it would work. Okay. So, all right. So now the AI is going to go to the OWASP site and munge in that information. The other thing too that it can do that's kind of cool is it has capabilities to like write science papers, so you can like read science documents and then ingest them into the knowledge vault, so you can search on them and it'll establish relationships between documents. And anyway, it's kind of a useful tool to to help you ingest some of these different science papers that are coming out. List 15 flagships. Okay, yeah. And we can look at the reasoning path to kind of get the details of what the AI is working on. So as you can see, there's quite a few different tool calls between bouncing back between. Okay, yeah, like here's the first reasoning call that processed our prompt, and then it goes and did a vault query, probably because it wants to check and see if we already have any OWASP pages. And then it did a web fetch, and then a web search, and then a subagent call. Kind of interesting. Anyway, there's a lot of activity here. It's kind of going back and forth. It sees like the Zap project. It's grabbing some information there, although I don't think Zap is an OWASP project anymore, but there's still some content out there, evidently. Okay, so it looks like it wrote the page here. Let's see what it came up with. Alt page. I have the official list, 15 flagship projects. All right. And here's, it looks like it's got some of them. Level 4 is grouped as document. Oh, I see. It's going by different categories for all the 15. So documents and standard, it's top 10, ABS, cheat sheets. Yeah. Cyclone DX. Yeah, that's a big one. And tools and platform. Dependency check, track, defect dojo, juice shop. Yeah, all good projects. I don't think I saw the name of the doc that it said it created, but we'll see it in the vault. It'll show up. There we go. It shows up top because we have it sorted by recent. So you can see here the page And as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff in there. So once again, we'll just have it summarized. Now we could ask the AI to summarize the page, but that's kind of like a common function. So we just kind of have like a read page button on here. So you can hit that read page and it'll, the AI will sort of take a look at the wiki here, and it doesn't read through all the content sections and stuff. It basically just kind of makes a nice audible summary of what this page is. So if you don't want to read through the whole thing, you can just kind of listen.
What's really striking about OWASP is how a worldwide volunteer community has turned the idea of open security knowledge into something practical and widely adopted, starting with their famous top 10 list of web application risks that now includes fresh categories like software supply chain failures and mishandling of exceptional conditions in the 2025 edition. That list often serves as the entry point for teams trying to spot the biggest threats. But the group goes far beyond awareness by maintaining a whole tier of flagship projects that range from verification standards like the Application Security Verification Standard to testing methodologies and even full platforms for tracking software components across supply chains. One standout is Juice Shop, an intentionally vulnerable web application built specifically for training, capture the flag events, and experimenting with security tools, which recently gained AI-related features to keep it relevant for modern pipelines. It sits alongside tools for mapping external attack surfaces through open-source intelligence, scanning dependencies for known issues, and managing vulnerabilities in continuous integration setups, all while projects themselves mature through defined stages from early ideas to the highest level of recognition. The foundation behind it all began back in 2001 as a web-focused effort but broadened its name to reflect work on mobile, supply chain, and more, running hundreds of local chapters and conferences without requiring paid membership. What makes it engaging is how these resources fit together into a natural flow for organizations, from setting requirements and secure coding practices to hands-on practice and external reconnaissance, all kept vendor-neutral and community-driven, so anyone can contribute or use them freely.
All right, so there you go. And so you can have it read it to you, or you can sort of browse the 15 projects there. But yeah, you can do this with any content. And as you can see, I've grabbed a lot of different projects here. So the Wiki Vault is like a, has pagination, or you can search. So we could find anything that has NVD in it. There you go. So the security software intelligence. Um, there are um, there's a graphing capability here, but as you can see, it's really a hot mess. So you can see all these different documents, and you can see these lines that kind of connect these sort of are the relationships between the different pieces of content. Um, I I really need a different way to display this information. I mean, I would say this graph is like utterly worthless, but but I think it's a neat idea, and I still think it's an idea worth doing, um, but it needs like more real estate on the screen, and I need to put a lot more time into it to get it to look good. I mean, I would like something sort of like a mind map or something sort of bubbly that has some padding between the different elements so it sort of spreads out, and then maybe you can zoom in or zoom out to give more clarity to the section that you're interested in. But I do like this knowledge base sort of concept, and and the fact that it can ingest different content sources like text, PDF, HTML, like give it a URL, it can ingest it, and it goes into the vault, and then gets related to other things, other pieces of content that are in the vault. That's a pretty powerful thing, I think. The files. So like I mentioned before, I have a schedule that runs like sort of a custom news paper job nightly, and also security intelligence feed. So you can kind of see what that is here. So this is my daily news brief, and this is from the 19th, so it's a day behind. But that's because I've had Charis offline here for the day because I've been doing some Claude stuff, working with it. But as you can see, top stories here, Trump talking about the election vulnerabilities and stuff. White House. I have different, categories that are sort of important to me. But anybody could choose whatever categories. It's basically just a prompt that runs. Um, and then I have some deterministic means to make sure that the information that's presented is a little bit more um, deterministic. So that way the newspaper comes out looking sort of familiar each time. Then I have some custom categories people probably don't care about, like Blizzard Gaming or, um, broader PC gaming. Um, let's see. Let's go back to security. I'm sure you're more interested in that. So here's the security, software security intelligence daily. I have like a sort of a risk quadrant on here, and I sort of pick different areas of concern that I thought or risks that um, are interesting to me. Like, is this a regulatory issue or is it a financial issue? Is it an incursion on user confidence or operational? And so it grabs these sort of top things from different news sources and security that I've specified, and then it sort of plots these, it reads through the article to kind of summarize it and figure out the theme. And so for point number 4, this is kind of more regulatory and more financial. And so that's scattered spider sentencing here. And then user confidence operations is like number 5. So KFC Japan, I don't know. I don't really know what some of these, what the issue with some of these attacks were, but in any case, it's sort of a way to keep up to date on what's going on and get some sort of, at least the AI's sort of thought as to where this belongs in the risk graph. Um, and then I came up with like a wall of shame, and I have, whatever is sort of hot on the dashboard for the wall of shame listed here. Um, as you can see, record 570 security flaws. Um, and then AI threats that are emerging over here, because AI is front and dear to all our minds at the moment. And then supply chain, anything supply chain that's in the news. You can see some pretty criticals here, 9.8 and 10s. So you can always look these up and get more info. Watch list. I'm not sure how watch list is. Yeah, I created this a while back here, so I'm not sure what the selection criteria for that is. But and then free training, anything sort of free training that's out there that might be sort of interesting. Anyway, these are some of the things that are interesting to me that I'd like to see on a daily basis. So you can change it however you want. And so when these things are run nightly, it just drops a report in your personal file area here, and it usually drops a notification in your inbox that the job is complete, and you can get a button there, where it to actually view it. So you don't have to actually come to your private files area here and manually click on it to see it. You can just go to your inbox. It's there, and it shows a little, the number of alerts on your bell. Um, Schedules tells you what. So here's the run of curated news. When they've run and what was executed. You can get the details of how it created the news article if you want. Same thing with the security intelligence briefing. If you want, you can modify the like if you don't want wall of shame, you can just delete that, right? Um, and then these things here are for the knowledge vault. So there's some tasks in here for getting fresh content into the knowledge vault, because the AI keeps the knowledge vault up to date for the most part. So it will review the internet on a schedule for new content, as well that may be related, as well as updating content that's in there. And you can sort of set the appetite for how much work in that area you want. Because if you had a really big vault and you know you wanted 10% of your content, reviewed every night, well, that 10% could be a really big number, and you might not want to pay the API fees for that. So, anyway, there's all kinds of cool little trade-offs. You can be as aggressive or not. But I kind of like the feature because when I come out here to go to the vault, sometimes I'll just like see new documentation that I didn't even put in there. It just like created itself automatically. And it was sort of like related to Tesla that I had added a Tesla link, but then it just kind of came up with Tesla and the Ether sort of all on its own. Anyway, that kind of a cool thing, I think, that it refreshes itself. I want to have some more manual options in here for editing content too. I'm not necessarily against manual editing. I think it's a great idea. But I do like the automated approach, for a lot of things you get basically, putting the benefits of AI to work. Um, and then all this sort of info in here is really all kinds of maintenance stuff, administrative. So the average Charis user just kind of sees what's above here. One of the things that I'm working on right now uh, is so this right here is like a traditional web application where Charis deploys on a server and and stores its content on the server, and clients log into it via a web page. But I'm slowly moving to the idea of uh, doing a decentralized peer-to-peer architecture. So having a server component, but a server component as a pod to shuttle information back and forth between other pods, and then use more of a peer-to-peer approach where everything is encrypted, and make the user the authoritative source for all their information. So that way, basically, you can't censor or kill a user. Um, so it will have similar features here, except that um, Charis will these other users here won't just live on this server; they could live on other servers too, um, and you could exchange files and other content with people in a serverless sort of architecture, using P2P type stuff, kind of like BitTorrent, but not exactly a different protocol, but similar idea in that you don't need any servers. But not just for like distributing music, right? Like this could be any sort, this could be posts. So like your timeline here will be a timeline of uh, across other people that are on Charis at the same time, people that you're interested in. Um, anyway, I think that's kind of a cool idea. It's like it doesn't take any resources on my part. Now I'm still going to have like AI as a part of this critical part of this architecture, because the internet's a dangerous place, and so but the cool thing is each user of Charis will be able to set their own sort of AI policies, content that you allow, content you don't allow. Of course, I have the advantage that Charis is my code of setting what those defaults are, um, which is kind of nice, right? That's a very powerful sort of position. And so I would encourage like good behavior, of course. Um, uh, uh, but uh, um, but I think that's a very resilient architecture, you know, um, uh, one that's sort of hard to stop. And I think that's a good thing given the history of everything that's happened in this country. Um, well, that's pretty much it. That's Charis. All right. And with that, um, good day and thanks for watching.